It's a brand new financial world since the 2008 crash, and a lot of people still have not changed their bad old habits. Shari Olefson, author of the new book Financial Fresh Start, is here to offer a plan to help people adapt to this new economy. Welcome, Shari, and tell me, how psychologically damaging was the 2008 crash?
It was hysterically damaging because literally, I mean, folks were losing their homes. This wasn't just money. This was their livelihood. It was, it was their safety net. It was the structure that they took care of their families in. It was huge.
And what are the new rules post-crash for borrowing that people need to adapt to?
Well, there are billions of dollars that have been spent on these. And we've heard of Dodd-Frank, we've heard of the Credit Card Accountability and Reform Disclosure Act. So the rules range everything from your banking and your borrowing to your credit repair, credit collection, and home ownership.
And people need to navigate these new rules. So let's start with credit. How can people repair their credit? I mean, even the United States lost its credit rating.
Yeah, it's challenging. And last week we got a report from the FTC that told us that 20% of those credit reports have problems on them that are actually costing folks money. So 1 in 5. I mean, can you imagine if your doctor made a mistake 1 in 5 times? This applies even to people who were not sort of taking risky chances and risky behavior during the crisis. It's everyone across the board. So rule number 1, and we now have this legal right with these new rules, is to get your credit report. And you can get it for free once a year at annualcreditreport.com, and of course review it and do something with it.
And how do people pay off their debts, get their credit in line, and still save for retirement, especially now when interest rates are so low, you're not getting money in the bank?
It's challenging, but under the new credit card rules, there are now disclosures that have to be on your credit card statements. So opening those statements and actually reading them is a first start. Less than 30% of Americans are actually doing that. But one of the tools that your statements now have under the new rules is a number that will show you how much money you have to spend every month to pay that off in 3 years, which is a hugely helpful tool. Other rules that are helpful to know, though, for example, if you're someone who's prone to maybe late payments and having your interest rates increase. Remember, they used to jack up our rates all the time. Now, under the new rules, the credit card company can't increase your rate on existing balances unless you miss 2 payments in a row. So it's real important not to go there and incur these extra costs that are going to make it take longer to get your debts paid off.
And finally, one of the big drivers of the downturn of the 2008 crash was homes.
Yeah.
People's homes, they lost a lot of money. They might be underwater now. What should people do with their homes? Should they sell them? Should they rent them out? I mean, the housing market supposedly is coming back. Should they buy a few more?
The home values have gone up by over 12% just in the last year alone, and we know inventory is way down, something like 4 months worth of inventory when a normal inventory would be about 6 months. So homes are actually a good place to be right now. But in terms of what to do, we're all in different situations, and that's why Financial Fresh Start is really written as a menu. We may go out to breakfast and you want the omelet, I want the pancakes, so it's written so that people can choose the tips that apply to them. For example, there's a section on what to do if you're underwater. That's an equation that involves paying down your mortgage and taking steps to increase the value of your home. And there are some really great tips you can do to accomplish both of those things. If you're one of the folks, and we know that 25% of Americans who have a mortgage are still underwater, if you're one of those folks, there are tips to help you out of that situation.
Sounds like a healthy breakfast to me. Thanks for coming on, Shari Olefson.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching The Street.